Hey, beloveds, it's Dr. Tad with your dailyish freebie on today. Yes, it's been a minute. Your girl has been pretty busy traveling, and I had an opportunity to attend the screening for This Is Where I Learned Not to Sleep, featuring Mark Wynn, who is an amazing human being, and my dear friend Kirsten Kelly, who was one of the directors. And we had the screening in Harlem and a talk back, and it was just truly an honor to be there. And so I do these things for several reasons. One, because there are some who are unable to tell their story. It's too risky, it's too dangerous. There are others that are still living in the guilt and the shame, and this is no judgment. It's just reality. It is what it is. And thirdly, I share these stories because sometimes we see these overarching stories about, the domestic violence wheel, different types of domestic violence, but we don't really have an opportunity to talk about what's really good, what really happens under, group sessions and therapy, and what is happening day to day that is just grueling and life-threatening. And so if you've missed 1 through 4, it's on my timeline. Feel free to catch up, because now we are on, I think it's episode 6. It might be episode 6. Yeah, I think. I hope. So anyway, we left off with my then husband being charged with harassment and terroristic threats and was sentenced to a year in jail. And I was able during that time to move from where I was living, move somewhere else that was safer. I had a community that supported me, and was very grateful. And I can't remember if I received a letter or a phone call, but when correspondence was sent to my husband in jail, I think it may have been the order of protection or something relating to the case and our situation. They put my address, they forgot to black out my address on the papers. I can't make this shit up. So, of course, I get a letter from him that says, I'll be out on X day or whatever, and the first thing I am going to do is come and see you. I was livid, absolutely livid. The system, once again, put me and my family in harm's way. Let me add this caveat. It doesn't happen this way for everyone. And it is important to trust beyond the system. Like we are called to protect ourselves through the system. And it's so hard because people are asking us to trust a system that doesn't see us, that doesn't recognize us, that continues to kill us, mind, body, and spirit. And where are we supposed to go? Who are we to turn to when we are in a domestic violence relationship and we want to get out? Whether it's law enforcement that doesn't understand, or law enforcement, it's a few that understand, but the whole system is really not designed to protect us. And then we bear the brunt of proving it. And if we don't prove it, then we don't get the order of protection, the temporary one, the permanent one. The list goes on and on. So it's a system that is broken, but we learn to operate within the system to save our lives. So I get the letter. I know the day that he is going to be released. So by the grace of God, we found a gated community to move to, and all my peoples from seminary, we moved out of that house so fast, like quick, fast, in a hurry. But let me tell you something. You know, I'm a believer. I love God. I believe in God. I trust God. I talk to God when there's things I don't understand. And so we moved out of the house, but then I got a call saying that he was going to remain in jail for another week for unpaid child support. He ain't got no children. For real, for real. Like, for real. The only child he would have had was the one I miscarried. So it gave me an extra week to make sure that I was safe, and I moved and didn't put certain things in my name, and, made sure that anyway. So I moved safely, and I had a little bit more time, and only God, that was a miracle. Like, it gave me more time to be safe. And then he got out. I didn't know where he was staying. So I always had to watch my back, watch my surroundings, be careful, where I traveled. And then eventually I was offered an opportunity to be the youth and young adult minister out in Denver, which was also a huge blessing. And so I was able to move out of the state. And because the church was such a historic and a mainstay in the community, we had an online presence before social media really blew up. I think when Facebook was still for college students for the most part. And so this was 2010 when I was offered the position. And then in 2011, I ended up relocating. And then my wonderful colleague and coworker and sister in life said to me there was a message on the church website that threatened me, and said that they got a job trucking or whatever, and they were driving across country, and they would be sure to make a stop and come and see me in Denver. So that didn't happen. And I say this to say, the domestic violence has so many layers and is so vast and so different. We have this overarching theme, if you will, but each situation is so different. So how do we find ways to support those who are in domestic violent relationships and help them be the center of healing and protection versus living in silence, the danger of silence? So our next episode will begin to wrap this up a bit, and just positing some thought-provoking ideas on how we can continue to be in community and love those who are in these volatile relationships so that we all can live, because healing happens in community, beloveds, and we all want to live and not die at the hands of systemic ills. So I'll see you once again on maybe tomorrow. Dr. Tad, Daily-ish freebie. I'm out. Later.